Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvi Navadhitamastu Ma Pitvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodho Vidhiyate. Okay. So Mahesh, go ahead and unmute yourself, and we will repeat this the previous Brahmashraya that we were looking at. Brahmashraya Sattva Rajastamo Gunatmika. So I think you said Sattva or Tattva?
Sattva.
Okay. Sattva Rajastamo Gunatmika.
Sattva Rajastamo Gunatmika.
Maya Asti.
Maya Asti.
So you can remain unmuted. Maybe him, you can unmute yourself also. So we are now in Srishti Vicharaha or Vyashti Vicharaha or Tattvabodha Vicharaha. Just a reminder. We completed Jiva Vicharaha, Vyashti Vicharaha. I think I made a mistake. I should have said Samashti Vicharaha here. So we completed Vyashti Vicharaha, Tvampada Vicharaha, Jiva Vicharaha. We are doing Tattvabodha Vicharaha, Samashti Vicharaha, Srishti Vicharaha. So inquiring into this Jagat, this world, and Jagat Karta Ishvaraha. So last class we said that we were looking at things in this world, and we were saying everything was given. There is nothing in this world that when I look around, that I can call I created, or any human being created, and everything is given to me. And a few things also we all got together and created, we say, like the downtown and like all that have come up. And so when I look at the things the human being created also, like a clock or a fan or even a simple pot. So in Coimbatore, we can go around, some places are there where they still make all these clay items. And so I have to go and buy a little, for tulsi, we keep tulsi in a little a square, you know clay stand like thing where there is mud, and then tulsi grows on that. So we call it tulsi madam. So I have to go. I've been my attender has been telling me for the last 2 months and to get it. So fortunately in Coimbatore, I can just drive for just half a kilometer. The ladies, they're making. So even to make a pot, we can't say, oh, it is just clay. You can't say, look at this cell phone, how many, there are thousands of parts that go into the making of the cell phone. Whereas this pot, just clay and water, you mix it. And therefore I say, okay, I give you clay and I'll give you water. You go make a pot. So that's when you will realize how much skill is needed. How much skill is needed to make a simple pot. And so much knowledge is needed. And so we look at this world as something that is intelligently put together. What to talk about, the pot itself requires so much knowledge. What to talk about these trees and these planets and things like that, there is not even, we can't even imagine. So that is how we got into the idea of there must be an entity that created this world. This is how the discussion comes. And then immediate question comes, where is this creator? Because we can't stand surprise. We can't stand, when a question arises, we want to know. We want to know. If you say there's a creator, where is the creator? Tell me. Popular argument, tell me. And immediately answer is given also. We saw that 7-Up is there, and he's of course up here. And he can't live here in this earth with all kinds of problems, and ozone problem and oxygen carbon dioxide problem and this problem, that problem, and water problem, and so on. God should be smart enough. He can't live here. So we all get together, we conclude that, and we point our hands upwards. This is how this idea of God starts. Now, so Vedanta cannot accept that answer, because that go back to that discussion between the daughter and the father. And the daughter is asking, who created the world? Father says, of course, dear, it's God who created. And then this innocent girl says, I want to see God. Because she doesn't, she is very innocent. And can we see God? And he says, no, we can't see God. He is in heaven. Heaven is too far away. We can't go there. And so then she says, oh, he's in heaven, not here. Then who created heaven? Then like this, the discussion we saw the discussion. Now, what we say is, the other religions don't get into this point. These questions only asked by Vedantists. Only in Sanatana Dharma you can have these kind of questions, and you can even live happily asking these questions. In other religions, not sure. We can't make that statement. You will get branded, and you may get finished also. So there we say, if we say God is in heaven, then how did God create heaven? Question will come. And we can't say God was in hell before creating this heaven. So somebody's conversation. Okay. So we can't say God is in hell. And if you say that also, we have to say who created the hell. And this discussion doesn't go anywhere. And when we say God created the world, that word world must include whatever place you have in mind. It should include this heaven if there is a heaven. It should include hell if there is hell. Correct? That is what we mean by world. Jagat means we are not limiting ourselves. We don't have a limit. When we say universe, we are going to include everything in this universe. Any place you have in mind, will be included in this universe. So therefore, Vedantin will include heaven in that. I am included in that. Everybody is included in that. The human body is included. So therefore, God located in heaven is not acceptable, because heaven is also a place which is not yet created. So now think about this creation in a different way. And the world means everything that is known to me plus everything that is unknown, because there are so many things I don't know. What I know is only a small, minuscule. Therefore, if the word Swarga in our Shastram is a physical place, if it is a physical place, then that Swarga has to be included in the Jagat which is not yet created. Correct? And so we can't say sitting in heaven, Ishvara created this world. Not possible. If that Swarga is not a physical place, then we must interpret the word Swarga, which is what our rishis do. Let's assume Swarga is not a physical place, and then okay, it's a state of experience, and Swarga can be there anywhere, etc. And so that analysis becomes what comes under the heading of Mimamsa. Among other things, Mimamsa will include all these things, will include this kind of analysis. So what is the conclusion of this discussion? Space and time is also part of the universe. Ishvara has not yet created space and time. And so we have to say Ishvara, being outside space and time, created this world. Big jump, major jump we have made from saying Ishvara created this world to Ishvara created this world which includes space and time, and therefore Ishvara being outside space created this world. But we have a problem here. What is the problem in the statement Ishvara being outside space created the world, created space and time? What is the problem? The problem is this. When I say outside, what is the meaning of outside? Outside implies space, implies there is something called an inside, there is a boundary between outside and inside, and with respect to the boundary, I can say I am inside my home, and that tree is outside the home, and so many people are outside the home. I can say outside, inside. So using the word outside itself implies space. So I am taking space for granted. So I can't say Ishvara outside space and time and all. I can't use the word outside. Therefore, we are left with only one choice here. We have to make an assumption that perhaps Ishvara is space and time. Okay. This is the starting point of Vedanta. Ishvara is space and time. Because I am left with no other option. Because I can't take space and time for granted. Leave space and time out, and then we'll talk about the rest of the creation. That won't help me, because now you haven't answered me the question of space and time. And if space and time also is part of the creation, then this so-called Ishvara The where is Ishvara question doesn't arise because the where question itself implies space is given. The minute you ask where, you are assuming space. Then only you can ask where. When you say when, you are assuming time. So when did God create this world if you cannot ask? Because you are assuming time. Assuming time. So very beautiful. Okay. So now this intelligent being, like the person, the pot maker, Ghatakarta. Ghatakarta means the one who makes the pot, the pot maker. This pot maker has the knowledge of what a pot is, what is the function of the pot, what purpose it serves, how to make the pot, where to get the material to make the pot, etc. This person knows everything. And how to make the pot also, of course, he knows. He or she. I see ladies doing it. So why should I say he? She knows it. And all the instruments needed, how much water to mix, and what kind of soil I should have, everything she knows. So Ghatakarta, the pot maker has the knowledge and skills needed to make the pot, and so we say Ghatakarta Ghatagnya. Ghatagnya. So the word Nya means one who has knowledge. It's called Nyaha. And Ghatagnya means knowledge of pot. Knowledge of everything to do with a pot. Making pot and so on and so forth. In this case, making a pot. Form, function, everything. So Ghatakarta, Ghatagnya. Then this cloth is there. Cloth in Sanskritam is called Pataha. Patakarta, Patagnya. Patakarta, Patagnya. Like this, you can say any object you think the maker of that thing must be knowledgeable of that thing. This is not difficult. We understand this in our life. And so this plumber comes and he fixes things. I know to call the plumber for this particular problem because only that person can solve this wash basin problem. And you ask him, hey, wait a minute, this light is flickering. Can you look at it? He says, Kshama karna. He says, please excuse me, that is not my forte. You must call a person called electrician. Can I give you the telephone number of the electrician? That much knowledge he has. And so, wow, so enlightened man. And so I have to go to somebody else. And the electrician comes and he fixes the problem. And if I tell him, every morning when I get up, I get a headache. Can you tell me something what I should do? He says, no, sir. I do all the electrical wiring in this. But Andarka wiring, that wiring I don't do. That wiring you have to go somewhere else. So like this, you ask around and you find that everybody knows something, but after that, that's it. That knowledge ends. And like this, we need so many people with so much knowledge. So each person we call as what? Alpa Buddhi. Alpa Buddhi. Therefore, everybody, however knowledgeable we are, this person has 7 PhDs. Okay, 7 PhDs. So ask him to make Mysore Pak. So then we will see how much knowledge he has. He said, what? Please, you have 7 PhDs. Please, I'm sorry, I don't know how to make Mysore Pak. Can you please make some Mysore Pak? What? I don't know how to make Mysore Pak. Let's go to this Anand Bhavan and they will make good Mysore Pak. See, that much knowledge this PhD has. because that fellow also wants to have a little once in a while. So alpajna, our knowledge is all alpam, and so we call ourselves as alpajna. And so the maker of this building to accumulate so many people. He needs electrician, he needs a mason, he needs a plumber, he will need a foundation maker, and he needs those people need laborers, and so this whole putting together is a great big thing. Project manager, they say. Project manager means what? A fellow who really doesn't know anything about the subject, but he has the capability to bring together all the subject matter experts. You know, they have all these nice words. Subject matter expert, they're called. And come together, put them in a room and say, you know, guys, we have a project. We need to create this new design of the iPhone, and we have a deadline, and the Steve Jobs has given us a deadline of just 2 months. You all know we don't have the luxury of 6 months or 1 year for these projects. And so project manager brings together all these alpajnas to create a product. So we are very familiar with this. Now, what about the world? So is God like this project manager who decided, okay, I'm going to create this huge project. It's called this Jagat. There is something called Jagat that I'm going to create, and we all need to decide, plan it out, develop a Gantt chart, and then do a timeline, and we need to stick to these timelines. So how much knowledge is needed for this Jagat? Huge. In fact, the word huge is itself, we are shy of using the word huge. So this Jagat Karta, Sarvasya Karta must be called what? Sarvajna. Just like the Ghatakarta, Ghatagnaha, Sarvasya Karta, Sarvajna. Right? So that's how we call Ishvara as Sarvajna. One who has the knowledge of everything that this universe represents. The Sarvajna. And so does this all-knowing person need some help? Is the question we are asking now. We have to rely on the Shastram for it. We have no choice. The Shastram says, Chandogya Upanishad says, Ekameva Dvitiyam. Ekameva Dvitiyam. So, Ekameva Advitiyam Asti. So, if it is Ekameva Advitiyam, one alone, Advitiyam, not a second, means what? Ishvara cannot rely on too many things. So, that has been very clearly pointed out. That entity is now, we are going to introduce a word called Nimitta Karanam. I may have said it before, but I will say it again. Nimitta Karanam. That Sarvajnaha, right? That all-knowing being, intelligent being. Remember, we have to bring in the word intelligence, because even for a small pot, so much intelligence is needed. And even for a small little Mysore Pak, a lot of intelligence needed. And so that entity is called Nimitta Karanam. The intelligent cause of this Jagat, of this universe. Okay, Nimitta Karanam. For every created object, an appropriate material is needed. And so the question is, just like clay is the most appropriate material for the pot, we can't use clay to make a telephone, cell phone. And so for the Jagat also appropriate material is needed. So we can't say Ishvara went next door and borrowed some mung dal. You know, we used to do when we were graduate students. I remember we used to stay in an apartment, and evening time we have to cook, because the mom used to cook, and suddenly you are put in a place where you have to cook. Otherwise, food is not available, and that too, if you're in a foreign country, you can't even go to a hotel. So no choice, you have to cook. And you start cooking, and after some time, you find, oh, this bottle of mustard seeds, there is no mustard seed at all. So you rush to the next door, because these fellow also Indians only. And so, Are Bhaiya, jara, do, give me some, what do you call it? Till, not till, what do you call it?
Sarso.
Sarso. Sarso. So immediately you get his bottle, and he borrows turmeric from me, and it goes on. But he also has a problem. I have a problem. He also has a problem. So like this, Ishvara, we can't say he went around borrowing stuff and he suddenly realized, oh, I have to go to the store. Now nobody has this. And onion is needed. And because we need some smell to all this. It's also bland. All this moong dal, king dal and all. Yeah, very, very bland. And all these people who eat without onion, they don't enjoy life at all. The onion, oh my God, I forgot to create the onion plant. First, I should create onion plant. Then only I can create this world. So these kinds of things, Ishvara, we can't think of Ishvara like that. So because space has to be created, time itself is to be created. And so amazing thing is, Shruti has never assumed space and time to be absolute. Okay? Never. Amazing. This is the beauty of Sanatana Dharma. Why did Western philosophers enjoy our Dharma? That is the evidence. People who have questioned all these Abrahamic religions and people who have questioned this God business, they've fallen in love with the Bhagavad Gita. Why? Upanishads. Why? Because of this reason. Tasmadva etasmad atmana akasha sambhutaha. Taittiriya Upanishad. Right in the beginning it says, Tasmadva etasmad atmana. From this Atma, akasha sambhutaha. Space was created. Look at that. What we take for granted means what? We know very clearly that space was created. Space is part of the creation. Science had so much difficulty until Einstein and other characters came forward and say, you know what, we are taking too much for granted. So this is ages old. Akasha Sambhuta. The first thing created by Ishvara is Akasha. That's what this statement says. Taittiriya Upanishad. Tasmadva etasmad atmana akasha sambhuta. Atma, all pervasive Atma is, and then Akasha manifests. Sambhuta, manifestation, not even creation. Imagine. Beautiful. Classical physics, Newton also made huge mistake by assuming space and time are given. And the giant leap from there is this modern physics, relativity, etc. Time and space are a product of creation. Therefore, any product, a pot can break and get destroyed, and so time also can get destroyed. Space also can get destroyed. Correct? Any product is mithya, and mithya means change. And shad vikaravat stula shariram we saw. So even this also will undergo change, and therefore time also can die, so to speak. Can get destroyed. And it happens every day. It happens every day. In our sleep, time doesn't exist. Time disappears. For you, time disappears. So that tells me time is created. Time is a part of the creation. And so then there is that's called laya. That is called laya. We use the word laya. And then science also, I think, is using the word collapse and all that. Collapsibility, and they say all these words. I have to infer that means they're talking about the collapse of time. A situation where time also doesn't exist. I don't know. I need to look into it. They talk about that, collapsibility. Collapsible, the universe is collapsible. Means everything in the world That is pralaya. We always talked about pralaya. Pralaya means over. The entire world as we know it doesn't exist, ceases to exist. And we say after pralaya there will be another srishti. And we say it casually, as though it's like it's a fact. And it's all our stories are filled with this. Bhagavatam, it just happens all the time. And so for us, this idea of creation, limited idea of creation is it doesn't satisfy us. Big Bang and then some creation happened. And we will say before the Big Bang, there was another creation. We have no problem with that. There is nothing, you can't disprove all these statements. Okay. So even our Shastram did not take time and space as absolute. Okay. So time and space are part of this Srishti. Great leap, wonderful. Now it all begins to make sense. And we said this Nimitta Karanam. If time and space also has to be created, we said this Ishvara has to become this time and space. Ishvara has to become this creation, because only Ishvara existed, and the material also must be with Ishvara, because Ishvara cannot go around looking for material. This is how we get the idea of Ishvara being all pervasive, Ishvara being the same as the Jagat. Very unlike the pot situation where Ghata Karta and Ghata are two different things. Pot maker and the pot are two different things. You know that very well. But with this Jagat and Ishvara, it is not the case. We are saying Ishvara is manifest as the Jagat. So we already saw two models the Shastram presented. Two models, which doesn't hurt for us to recap. One, of course, is Yatha Urnanabihi Srijate Grannate Cha. Urnanabihi means spider. Spider. So we saw that the spider has the ability to spin the web out of itself. It doesn't go out for the material. Of course, spider needs food and all that. That's okay. We know all that. But just this particular beautiful example where during the creation of the web, it is just creating the web out of itself. Amazing. And once I think I saw how it creates. It does this, just moves around, and then suddenly it comes out, and then it does this, it does that. And so that once I was able to, once or twice I've seen it. And of course, we've also seen the spider withdraw the web into itself. That's amazing. And it just goes up, and the whole web is gone. Beautiful example of this particular idea that the material is not separate from the maker. And this material, in Sanskrit, we use the word Upadana Karanam. We said Nimitta Karanam. So who is the Nimitta Karanam in the example of the spider's web? Who is the Nimitta Karanam of the web? The Nimitta Karanam, the efficient cause, this technical term is used, efficient cause. And it helps us. In English, we use the word. Efficient cause means the maker. The maker. The efficient cause of the Nimitta Karanam of the web is this Mr. Spider. This Mr. Spider who is deciding where to make the web, how big it should be, what I intend to catch with this web, all that knowledge the spider has, that Mr. Arachnid, correct? I go to the bathroom in the morning and right in the wash basin, I see this fellow. And on and off, I see him. And I turn on the tap and he runs away. And he's made a little web in the wash basin, and I'm amazed because every day we are cleaning this wash basin, and this guy is insistent on coming here. And I wonder because I've been very lenient and I let him go to the corner on top of the mirror. He can go and relax there. But I've been watching this. So this guy has decided that this place is safe enough for him to create a web and it is useful, etc. That guy, Mr. Spider, is called Nimitta Karanam of this web. Correct? What about the Upadana Karanam? Who is the Upadana Karanam? Who is the material cause of this web? Of course, the web, of course, the material that's coming out of the spider. And so from the body of the spider, so we will say, with respect to the body, the Upadhi, you must recall the word Upadhi now. Upadhi means this particular form, something that is instrumental in creating attributes, often associated with a form, or always associated with a form. That Upadhi, with respect to the spider body, the spider will be called the Upadana Karanam. Because from there only the material is coming. So, Nimitta Karanam, the Mr. Intelligent Spider, intelligent being in the spider, that fellow is Nimitta Karanam, who decides what, when, where, why, when to run, when to catch, etc., how to digest, when to do, and this. It's amazing. What happens if a slightly big object gets stuck? Now, if the object is too big, there is no way that the big, this kind of big insect cannot get stuck there because the web is too flimsy for that. But I suppose any being that gets stuck is weak enough for the spider to go after. So all that he knows, Mr. Spider, Nimitta Karanam, and the body, the Upadhi, is Upadhana Karanam. And the example tells us that the Nimitta Karanam and Upadana Karanam are really not different. They reside in the same place. That is only the purpose of this example. Another example also we have seen, and the dream example, Swapna. We've seen it before. We will recall it now again. Another example where I have created this dream and I look at my dream world and everything that I did not go outside to get the material, and the material was me and I was the creator of the dream world. Therefore, again, that example shows that the Nimitta Karanam and Upadana Karanam are identical. And the Shastram has a particular way of saying it. If I ask you, how did you create the dream world? Shastram provides the answer. So Kamayata, again Taittiriya Upanishad, previously also Taittiriya Upanishad. So Kamayata Bahusyam Praja Yeti Satapo Tapyata Satapas Taptva Idagum Sarvam Asrijata. Like that. So Kamayata. Saha Akamayata. He desired. He desired. And what did he desire? Bahusyam Praja Yeti. Bahusyam. Bahu, many. Bahu means not this Dulhan Bahu, etc. Not that Bahu. Bahu here in Sanskrit is many. So, Bahusyam. Bahusyam Praja Yeti. May I become many. May I become many by creating all this Praja, people. May I create people and become many. May I become many, he says. See, he doesn't say, may I create also, he doesn't say. May I become many. Means what? Means it's an indication, it's a clue that Ishvara it's a manifestation, it's not a creation. How wonderful it is. Completely agrees with the physics law of conservation of mass, energy and all. You bring no problem with this. Conservation. Because creation cannot happen out of nothing. So may I become. Fantastic it is. So same thing, dream also. So kamayata. So I desired. I don't remember desiring anything, but I desired. All you have to do is think. You think of the mountain is. You think of a road next to the mountain, the road is. You think of a river next to the mountain, the river is. Over. This is what is so kamayata. And you think of the mountain lion, the mountain lion is. And you want a few birds on top, no problem. Just so kamayata. Think of a few birds and the birds are. And suddenly the dream world is. Correct? So the material for all these things, what is the material for this mountain? My own knowledge, mountain knowledge. I have a Shakti by which my mountain knowledge gets manifest as this dream mountain. And the dream world is me. The dream maker is me. And what kind of me it is? The knowledgeable me. Right? The knowledgeable me. Because the dream mountain is the dream knowledge, the mountain knowledge I have. The dream trees on the mountain are the tree knowledge I have, manifestation of the tree knowledge. The mountain lion also, I seem to have some knowledge of mountain lions. I know there are lions which don't live in mountains, and there seem to be lions which live on mountains. They're called mountain lions, correct? I seem to know the difference between the two. Look at the knowledge that is manifest. And if I was in Coimbatore, then I even know elephants walking in these mountains and hiding, and their homes are all in the mountains. So I throw few elephants also in the process. And occasionally I see the elephants crossing the road also, and the traffic stopping. Everything is just coming alive in this dream world. So my knowledge, the knowledgeable me, is manifest as this Jagat, as this dream world. Swapna. So the dream world example is useful to appreciate that my knowledge is manifest as this dream. That is the takeaway from this example. Takeaway for now. My knowledge alone is manifest as this world. So therefore, our understanding of Ishvara should be interpreted as our understanding of Ishvara as not separate from this world. Because in the dream world, I am not separate from the dream. I am not separate from the dream. The dream is also me. I am manifest as the dream. And so there is no question of separation here. So when we talk about Ishvara, we will talk about that Ishvara that is not separate from this Jagat, whose knowledge is manifest as this Jagat. That is a way to look at Jagat. So all the Puranas, etc., that talk about creation, they are all poetic. And so now we are beginning to realize that we shouldn't take everything in our Puranas literally. Literally. They are trying to express this non-separation between the world and Ishvara. And they are trying to express the non-difference between the Nimitta Karanam and the Upadana Karanam. Non-difference. So my idea of creation itself is now undergoing a revolutionary transformation. Correct? Because the material and the creator are the same. The material and the world maker are the same. This is how Vedanta introduces ourselves to Srishti. Now, we're going to make some observations. When we say Ishvara is not separate from Jagat, immediately, this is why we will say that nothing in this world is inert. What do we mean by inert? Inert means what? Insentient. Oh, these are all things. And I am a sentient being, living being, conscious being. These are all inert. They are just buddhus. They are just jada. They are just objects which have no life in them. They can't move. They can't do anything. They are just objects without life. Inert. Although that there is some truth in that. Sentient, insentient, inert, not living. There is of course some truth in that. But because of this all-pervasiveness of Ishvara, we cannot assume anything to be, everything has that same sanctity as my body has, as your body has, correct? That sanctity is equal. Even my chappals that I wear has the same sanctity as the wearer of the chappals, correct? Therefore, this beautiful attitude that is available only in India, and we must preserve it. Therefore, when I step on a piece of paper, I seek pardon. Why I should seek pardon from this silly piece of paper? Paper can't do anything to me. But there is so much I know. The vision, the Shastram gives us so much that even as a child, I appreciate even a piece of paper. The sanctity. So Ishvara not being separate from Jagat comes from there. All these things come. Then, so we talked about Devatas. Now all these things begin to make sense. Surya, when we wake up and do Surya Namaskar, we are not looking at the sun as an inert object. We do it because it's not an inert object anymore. Not simply a bunch of phenomena, some helium and hydrogen and some combustion going on at 6,000 degrees Celsius. No, that may be true. That is true. That is fine. But we look at this whole phenomenon as Ishvara. Not separate from Ishvara. Ishvara is working, is acting. That intelligent being. And we worship that intelligent being and Aditya. So we can chant Aditya Hridayam in the morning. Correct? Tato yuddha parishrantam samare chintaya sthitham Ravanam jagrato drishtra. Bring Ravana also. Bring the story. The entire Ramayana comes when you chant this. So amazing. So that's the culture which is so different from other Abrahamic traditions. And so I can invoke Varuna in water. In rain, I can invoke Varuna Devata. In a glass of water, I can invoke Varuna Devata. In our pujas, we will have a pot of water and we will start with what is called Punya Achanam, which is invoking Devata in this water. We sanctify this water. And then we use this water in the ritual. The sanctified water is used in the main ritual. Amazing. See how it is. Before doing the Abhisheka, the water that I use is sanctified before I do the Abhisheka of Vishnu or Shiva or whatever. Correct? So, sanctified. Sanctified means recognition of the Ishvara. And therefore, when I do a puja, I can, what if I don't have certain things? I I don't have a Shivalinga, I want to do a Shiva Puja. Yes, you can do it. You simply take turmeric. Do you have turmeric at home? Yes, I do. Because food is important and therefore these Indian fellows will have turmeric. So you take turmeric and turmeric has a beauty. It has, it's an antiseptic. And so I'm guessing now, they've decided to use turmeric because of its ability, the purity. And therefore they say, Asmin what is turmeric?
Haridra Bimbam.
Haridra Bimba. Asmin Haridra Bimba. You just mix some water, make a lump, and you can invoke the Ganapati in that lump. Over. Your puja started. You don't need anything else. You don't need, I don't have a saligrama. I don't have this particular lingam. I don't have this murti. And they have a nice big murti in their home. All this, there is no need at all. You have a turmeric, you have puja, you can start your puja, you can do your puja. So this vision gives us, from that vision comes these kinds of practices. You think about it. And therefore, we say, now if we ask the question, is there one God or is there many gods? If we ask this question. A very popular question, especially among children and others. Growing up in India, we don't ask these questions. Everything just grows along with us. But suddenly we have children and they're growing and suddenly they knock and say, Mom, what is this? I went to school, they said about monotheism and polytheism. Are we polytheists? And mother is shocked. This kind of question I've never heard before. And what am I supposed to tell him? And because if I say something, he will ask me one more question. And this will go on and on. I have this experience like that, she will think, and she is stuck. So Abrahamic religions, no problem. Monotheism, one God who lives in one particular heaven. We have given him a nice place, air-conditioned room with all kinds of air-conditioned heaven itself. And there he says, and fine. So idea is clear, one God. So monotheism. But here they have problems. They can't give a proper name. You know why? Because if you say polytheism, it appears as though you're worshipping so many gods. Every place you go, every person is talking about some Devi and some Devata, and even among Devis, Akilandeshwari here and Kanika Parameshwari here, and it goes on and on and on. Devis' names are different and the forms are different. And so, is this polytheism or what? And polytheism also, it doesn't fit because they talk about the same Devi who has different names, different faculties and all that. Then these fellows just scratch their head. They don't know. So they come up with a nice name. They call this dharma as what? Pantheism. They use the word pantheism. I think they use the word pantheism. You can Google and find out later. Pantheism. And I suppose, now I'm thinking, pan means, like Pan India, Pan America means all Americas combined, South America, North America, etc., Central America. So Pan America. Pan means includes everything. So pantheism. Okay, so we are not going to analyze too much these words, but we are appreciating the fact that this vision is so different that it doesn't fit any Western model of creation, God, religion, whatever. Doesn't fit. Because our idea is not one God. We say there is, as Puja Swamiji's famous statement, only God. It is not one God. It is not many gods. It is only God. Is a very, was known for the statement. There is not one God. There are not many gods. There is only God. Of course, we can't use the word God also. That using that word itself is not correct. But just to make a statement. So only God, because everything that is here is Ishvara, Sarvam, Khalvidam, Brahma. Where is the second? Advitiyam nasti ekameva advitiyam. Chandogya Upanishad. So when there is no second, how can he say one God? Suppose I say one God. Why can't I say one God? One Brahma, correct? Brahman is one. Why I can't say one God? We can't say one because remember that one is a limited one, correct? One that is located in a particular place, that God doesn't reside in earth. They say he is created and he's sitting there. That means he doesn't include this world. And so, but he's the only all-powerful one. There is no second entity like him. And so that one, a countable one. One means countable. You must be able to count one. So I have one cell phone and I can point to it and say, this is my cell phone. I have only one cell phone. One. That is, God is like that. Like this one cell phone. So limited. When the one means limitation is there. That kind of one. But here, ekameva advitiyam. One without a second means has to be all pervasive. And you can't say one because if you say one means you're pointing to something, and the minute you're pointing, you are excluding yourself and you're limiting that one. Correct? You're limiting that one. Therefore, we have to move away from this one God business. Therefore, Hinduism is not monotheistic. It is not polytheistic. It is some other theistic. You are welcome to define your own word. But make sure you understand that we are talking about Ishvara or being all pervasive. This is what we need to understand from here.
I think it's called monistic. That is the word they use.
Yeah, monism. Correct. Sometimes they say monism and all that.
Yeah.
Correct. I've heard that word too. Monism. Monistic. Monistic. So if we use the word, if your daughter asks you, is Hinduism polytheistic? And if you tell her, no, ma, it's not. It is monistic. What will she understand? So she can't understand. So we have to explain. There's a lot of explanation needed. And so sometimes it's better not to use a word. Okay, use a word that you don't understand. It's not easy to understand. It's not one, it's not many. It's something other than one and many. Okay, so we have just looked at, as part of this Vyashti, Samashti Vicharaha, analysis of the world, we are beginning to appreciate. Today we appreciated the Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. So I'm now introducing another little word called Abhinna, which means non-separateness. The non-separate Nimitta Upadana Karanam Ishvaraha. Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam Ishvaraha. That is what we talked about today. We will continue this discussion, more to talk about. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahimahishaha Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Lokas Samastas Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasyashalini Deshoyam Kshobarahitaha Brahmanas Santu Nirbhayaha Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhaved Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Amritangamaya Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम